is Soda City Live.
Welcome back to Soda City Live, everyone. Trustus Theatre is gearing up for its upcoming production, Mr. Burns, a post-electric play. The play is a dark comedy where a group of survivors attempt to piece together an episode of the television show The Simpsons. The production's director is Abigail McNeely, and Allison Allgood portrays Jenny and Bart. That just blows me away that you're doing both of those. Before we go into the details of what the play is and directing and all that, tell me why are you guys having you do both roles?
So the first act of the play is right after the electric grid has come down.
Right.
And then the second act is 7 years later. These people who have survived it, they are a theater troupe.
Yes.
And so Jenny is part of those two timelines.
Oh, okay.
And then the third act is 75 years later.
Wow,
so
Allison.
It's a production.
Okay. And is it difficult for you to be two different people in one play? I mean, you're an actress, so I guess the answer is no.
No, I love playing multiple characters. That is my favorite.
That's great. Abigail, tell me about directing this one.
So I first saw this show when I was an undergrad at USC. They did it at Longstreet Theater, and I fell in love with it.
Really?
I did. When we were trying to piece together the season, I brought it up because it was so poignant at the time. This group of people has come together to use art as not only a source of comfort, but also a survival tool for themselves. The play was originally produced in 2012, but now 10 years later, after the pandemic, I think it's even more important. So I'm so excited to finally be able to do it. It is an epic by every sense of the word. Allison and the rest of the cast have done incredible work on it, and so I'm excited for people to see it.
That's cool. As we look at these pictures, it looks inviting. What makes it dark?
I think the stakes are so high. It is a survival piece. We meet them in a forest. They've banded together so that they have people that can watch their backs, that can help them gather food. By the second act, they're producing theater not just as entertainment, but also survival. This is how they make their money. This is how they travel. And then by the third act, this idea of The Simpsons has been raised to almost an epic level that they produce for entertainment. It becomes almost an epic, a hero's journey. So Jenny, or Allison, gets to play Bart, who overtakes Mr. Burns in the third act.
Oh, that's great.
So it's a completely masked musical third act, which is so unlike anything else I think we've seen on the Trustus stage.
So are you, Allison, my producer and I would love to hear you do a little bit of Bart.
Oh,
can you give us a line?
So in Act 3, it's 75 years later, and none of these people have had electricity their entire lives, so they don't know what Bart Simpson sounds like.
True.
So if you want to hear impressions, that would have to be the first act or second act where I don't play Bart.
Oh, interesting little twist there. Are there other surprises in the play that, I know it's like, am I about to give them away, but what can you tell us that would be kind of like, ooh, didn't see that coming?
I think one of my favorite moments is in Act 2. So the troupe that's now producing Simpsons episodes as plays have something called chart hits, which is many pop songs that they can remember put into one big musical number that they do smack dab in the middle of the second act, which was actually composed by one of our actors in the show, Andrew Mullen, who I'm so blessed with. He's incredibly talented. So in the middle of the show, they break out into Rolling in the Deep. We get to hear September. We hear All You Need Is Love, and it's just really joyous in the middle of kind of a heavy act.
Yes.
I think people are going to be really excited by it. I think they're going to find it really fun.
I like that. Allison and Abigail, I'd like to hear from both of you. What is it about community theater that you love? And for those in our viewing audience who don't go to community theater, what are they missing out on?
Oh, I love theater. I love the live performance because you get the energy from the audience and you get to experience a once-in-a-lifetime performance. It will never be the same again. And this particular play is really, it was written about something, it was written about 9/11.
Yeah.
And now with COVID-19 having happened, it has such a different perspective.
And what do you love about it? And then we got to wrap.
I totally agree that the live aspect and it not being the same every night. And I think my favorite part of doing theater is always the few moments after you see a show where you get to share in it with everyone. what did you think? What were your favorite parts? You go get a drink at our bar and you get to just like discuss everything that you just saw and unpack it all and figure out what it was that meant the most to you or was most poignant to you. So I'm really happy that we finally get to welcome people back into our space over the last year.
Definitely. It's Mr. Burns, a post-electric play. Break a leg, ladies.
Thank
you. There's the information on your screen, January 20th through February 4th. Showtimes vary, so just go to their website, go to ours, in fact, to get a link to Mr. Burns at Trustus Theatre. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
More Soda City Live right after this.